Are you tired of the same boring sports talk shows? Has your hunger for SEC sports yet to be filled? Well, worry no longer. You have arrived in the waiting room with Dr. SEC, where the sports talk is unbiased, refreshing, and impossible to duplicate.
Welcome to the show, Coach.
Good to be with you. We're looking forward to the College All-Star Bowl coming up here just very few weeks, February the 14th.
Yes, sir. And that's what we want to take a little time and talk to you about. I had seen where a lot of SEC players are headed that way, and so I went over and did some research on the bowl and was really, really impressed by what I've seen. The roster is absolutely dynamic. Not only do you got some big-name guys that people know about, but you got some guys that I feel like from the SEC, which I cover each day and our listening base is most familiar with, that are guys that have really flown under the radar, that could really have a impressive game and really show what they can do, some scouts. And so just to kind of give a background, this was actually, wasn't this just based around South Carolina last year?
It was, you had the invites came from kids that either played high school or college ball in South Carolina. So you might have gone to Greenville, South Carolina high school, but you went to Notre Dame or you went to Michigan, you would be eligible. But and you might have grown up in Knoxville and went to Clemson, you'd be eligible. But this year we've got players from all over the country. We've got an offensive tackle from Southern Cal. We've got players from Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Baylor, SMU, Michigan State, Syracuse. Well, Syracuse now, we've had so many changes in the conferences, but, Texas A&M, Boston College, Miami, Auburn, Alabama, some of the major powerhouses in the country are going to be represented in our game.
Absolutely. And as we talked about the game, of course, and I won't go through the whole list, but for our listeners, some of the names that they'll be very familiar with, guys like Jeff Scott from Ole Miss, guys from big players like Rentavious Wooten from Georgia, who had so many clutch plays over his career. Guys like Kenny Bell, who really kept the season alive this year for Alabama when he came back after missing that one practice. And just some guys that I really believe could really, I mean, you don't just have some players there. You got some real playmakers that are coming.
I know. And really we're waiting on a few more names that would really highlight the game, mainly the guys with the ball in their hand, the quarterbacks, but they wanted to wait till after this Senior Bowl weekend to commit. Their agents give them a little pushback. They always say, don't expose yourself, you don't have to injuries. But we're going to protect them. We only practice 3 practice sessions, and we're just installing the offense, defense, and special teams are going to be all fair catch. So we're not going to have, a lot of these guys never been on a special team because they were the stars of their football team. And we slow down the injury chance that way and place the ball. We're going to execute the kickoff, but we'll put the ball on the 35-yard line, and they'll always have good field position. But we've got some top players, like you say. We've also got some small college players, not as many as I've seen in the other ball games. So most of our guys are coming from major colleges and with big-time programs and winning seasons and records behind them that speak for themselves.
Absolutely. And, of course, I went through the list and looked at all the SEC guys, which is loaded, and looked at some of the other big schools, like you said, from all the major conferences. And then with the guys that actually from small schools, those are guys that are really flying under some NFL radars that can make some noise as well as they begin to play with the big boys. I want to ask you about the coaches. Who's coaching the 2 teams?
The same coaches we had last year. Danny Ford, who led Clemson to a national title years ago, and and retired here in South Carolina, and Willie Jeffries, who's a legend in the state of South Carolina, from South Carolina State. In fact, if you ever get a chance to go to a banquet with Willie Jeffries, is either the MC or the main speaker. Don't miss it because he's hilarious. But we don't have assistant coaches. We have what are called mentors, and these are former NFL players that will be able to answer questions. We're just installing, an offense and a defense, so we're not going to teach them the three-point stance. They'll be able to talk to the mentors, though, that can explain what's about to happen to them because they've been through the draft process and the mini camps and the summer training camps and all of the things that are out in front of most of the players that are going to play in this game.
Absolutely. You made mention of something I wanted to talk about just for a moment, if we could, and that is the mentor program. I was going through there and looking at some of the mentors for this game, and it really seems like a really impressive program. So those guys are going to be around to kind of just not football advice. They're going to be able to kind of give everyday advice, aren't they?
Well, they will, and you know that when you become a professional athlete, you leave the realm of amateur athletics, even though it's big-time amateur athletics in college football. If you become a pro, you become the boss of your own corporation, and you're the product, and you can't damage that product. You got to be careful how you, express yourself in front of the media, how you walk off the practice field when kids are asking for autographs. I mean, there are 1,000 things that may seem trivial at times, but can be vital before a career is over with. And these guys, the mentors, have already been through that. Not only have they been through it, but they've observed their teammates going through this, and they can see some of the mistakes maybe their teammates made or some of the things that teammates taught them as a better way to do things. So we walk away from this week not only having great exposure to NFL scouts and coaches, and almost every team. In fact, I think every team is going to be here. We're told that, but never know when we get them here. The practices are side by side, so they can see both teams practice at the same time. And we're going to do something a little different. We're going to actually not scrimmage, but we're going to go one-on-one against the American team against the national team in the 3 practice sessions. So there'll be some real competition. The scouts love that idea. That's not taking place in any other all-star game anywhere. So the mentors are a big factor. They're the motivators. They're the encouragers. But the evening meetings are generally designed to bring the whole player back into play with some motivational and inspiring talks.
Absolutely. Looking at the rosters, how do y'all decided? How do y'all divide those up to who's on which team?
Well, we were going to have a draft and make a big deal out of it, but because the players are still coming in, we have had our own draft, and we basically tried to make sure that we had a balanced team, that both sides had a chance to win the ball game itself. It's going to be on national television on CBS Sports Network, which is the cable network for CBS, 6 o'clock on Valentine's night, February 14th, from 6 until 8:30 in a 2.5-hour time slot. And we tried to make sure that we didn't overplay out one hand or the other. Last year we had Willie Jeffries and Danny Ford, of course, going at it. They thought one team had a better stock of players than the other one, which is normal.
Absolutely. Now, I'm really excited about this, Coach. As I've kind of introduced myself to this bowl game for the first time, I actually didn't see it last year. I'm really excited about this because as you looked around, and I kind of looked at the other bowl game or the other All-Star games that do take place now, and I was kind of looking. This one actually meets so many needs that I said, if they had this, it'd make that much better. And you just talking about the practices. I mean, just imagine how exciting it's going to be to watch the practices, not just the game. And I believe that this thing is setting up to be something great. And is this something y'all plan on this being an all-the-time continuous thing?
Well, yeah, we hope it will grow into real competition for the Senior Bowl for the reasons we mentioned. The fact that in the Senior Bowl, for example, for those that don't know, they have practices on either end of town at high school practice fields that have been practiced on by high school all year long, and you can imagine how much grass is left for that. And I don't think I ever went to a Senior Bowl that wasn't cold and wet. It was always rough conditions, and the footing was poor. And we're going to have this is the facility that was used by the Atlanta Falcons for training camp for years before they had their own, built their new complex. So it's a great facility. It's side-by-side practice fields. They'll dress in the locker room right there in the stadium and just walk onto the practice field. Great access to scouts and coaches that want to do personal interviews with the players. We're going to have late morning practices. It's not going to be like training camp where you got to get up at 6 o'clock to be out there on the field at 7:30 or something. We're going to practice. The first day is not until 11 o'clock, and the second day is at 10 o'clock, and then that afternoon, the second day, is just a walk through in the stadium. And we're going to separate the teams for about 20 minutes so that they can put in their secret plays, their one special or
Yeah.
two special reverses or flea flickers or whatever they come up with.
Absolutely. Now, this is going to be at Furman University there in Greenville, South Carolina?
That's right. Furman's got a perfect venue for it. Got a field turf, brand new field turf, stadium field, and it seats about 20,000 people, which is perfect for television. And the location is in Greenville, which is in the upstate, near the Blue Ridge Mountains. This beautiful town of Greenville, South Carolina, and the surrounding areas. And players will report on Tuesday, and they'll be out of there by Friday night. Short week.
Absolutely. Greenville, South Carolina is one of the places I said that I would definitely consider moving to when I retire. Beautiful place. Furman University is a beautiful campus. So we want to encourage everybody that's within distance there to head out to that game on February 14th. And if you're not, they also now can catch it on TV this year, right?
Yep, and I'm not sure what the number is on your cable network, but it's the CBS Sports Network. You know, since NBC had a home run with the Golf Network, all the other networks now have their dedicated sports network affiliate.
Yes.
And this is CBS Sports Network, and be in all the TV listings. But it's 6:00 kickoff at Furman Eastern Time, and from 6 until 8:30. Perfect Valentine's for your sweetheart. Take her to a football game.
Absolutely.
Or sit with some popcorn in front of a warm fire and watch the game on TV.
Absolutely. Coach, we appreciate you so much being with us, and think this is a wonderful thing that you're a part of, and we believe that it's going to grow to something even greater and bigger. And we just want to congratulate you on what you've done already and what's going to be here in the future.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and we forgot to mention that this is a charity event. The proceeds, after all the bills are paid, this year's charity main recipient is Meals on Wheels, and it's a terrific organization.
Awesome.
I'm very much involved with them, but we hope that will grow as the years go by to become a major fundraiser for local charities.
Absolutely. You can find out more information at the College All-Star Bowl. Thank you once again for being with us, Coach.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.